team making an interjection. Hindol has the mic out. Go for it.
Since I'm the only one interested in history, professionally at least, let's make a historical point. A lot of people mention Nathuram Godse. Perhaps they don't know that Nathuram Godse in court gave a statement saying he stood for a secular version of India, and he said he never wanted any mixing of religion with politics in India. This is recorded statement of Nathuram Godse. He said he objected to Gandhi because of what happened with Pakistan and India and the division of the country, but he personally always stood for a division between politics and religion. And the other point I really wanted to make was Pragya Thakur was mentioned. Well, actually Pragya Thakur's case is a wonderful example of how secularism is alive. She said something, lo behold, she doesn't have a ticket today. So, you know, in my mind, this is a perfect example of secularism. You do something, well, you don't have a ticket. What better could be? What better?
Okay. Thank you, Hindol, for that. You know, lots of people who are sitting here are messaging, and some who are watching on digital and social are messaging. So I'll use my perch as the session chair to ask Shehla Rashid this question. Many people are messaging me and saying, Shehla ko kya hua? Given what she was and who she was earlier as a trenchant critic of the Modi government, they're saying, is this discovery of secularism or is this pressure? Shehla Rashid, 1 minute, go for it.
So it's quite clear that the last 10 years have not been an easy conversation between the government and the Muslims. But what we need to realize is that what has ended, the era that is over, that we are talking about, is an era of tokenism. What has ended is lip service to the Muslim cause. Now, let me give you a small example. The scheduled caste reservation, for example, does not include Muslims. And this was the golden age of secularism under Congress. But now we see the EWS reservation. Does it discriminate against Muslims? Does it leave out Muslims? It does not. So for example, the PM Vishwakarma scheme, if you look at it, it has 18 crafts listed under which youth are given training and they are given some per diem and they are given some livelihood. Now these crafts are primarily practiced by Pasmanda Muslims, but the scheme doesn't say that. So actions speak louder than words. That is what has changed. Earlier we used to have only words, now we have actions. Without paying lip service, without saying Muslim, 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 the government is teaching us, it is enabling us to stand on our own feet. That is what has changed.
Okay, so thank you, Shehla, for that. We're coming now to the business end of this debate. I just want to tell our debaters that you have 1 minute each for final comments. One person from both teams, whoever's not spoken, ideally that. Before that, from the jury, your final comments, and then the voting. So whoever wants to speak first. Just 1 minute each.
Comments,
1 minute
I think all of them are quite passionate in whatever they've said. I just want to ask a question. How does saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai or Vande Mataram undermine Muslims?
Okay. Aryama Sundaram.
Since everybody has a minute to answer, I want to ask you all a question. Do you think the question of secularism being under attack or not being under attack is because India seems to have made a departure from what is the philosophy of secularism? The philosophy of secularism is the state disassociates itself from religion. It is actually a passive role the state plays. Whereas the Indian Constitution appears to lead, as was said by a 9-judge bench in the Supreme Court, to a positive concept in India, whereby the state participates with one rule. The state does not have ethical morality, it does not have religious morality, it has constitutional morality. And constitutional morality means that political parties cannot bring religion into their political agenda because that is, I'm quoting the Supreme Court, constitutionally impermissible and therefore constitutionally immoral. I would like it if anybody can comment as to whether this is the cause of our problem.
So you have to do this. Remember, in the concluding comments that one of you makes, you have to respond to the jury and what you've heard. It's not what you are itching to say, because everybody's already got his hand up and they're itching to say something. It's not necessarily what you're itching to say. It's in response to what you have, because we have a very smart audience, and the sharpest minds sitting out in the audience, they'll be judging you. So respond to what you're hearing from the jury.
Ask Aryaman, has faith got to be vetted by the Supreme Court?
You know, I have a plan. we set up a separate debate on the sidelines and do an adda. Swapan Dasgupta versus Aryama Sundaram. Who's joining me for that later? That'll be fun as well.
On
That'll be
a
great.
lighter vein, if you gave the Supreme Court a chance to decide it, they would.
Oh, we can have the 9-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court weighing in on this, and we can have Swapan and Aryama argue on both sides. That'll be a lot of fun. Our Law Today team would be very excited about that. Deepak Verma, final comments. Any particular direction you wish to take this debate in, and then final words. Mike.
I would have expected that people talk about the difficulty of having a Western concept like secularism incorporated into India. And the original debates in the Constituent Assembly about that. So that is something we did not come out at all during the conversations.
Deepak's not very impressed with the whole debate. He's like, pata nahi aa raha. Okay, we'll hopefully, the debaters will, in the last chance they have, rise to the moment. It doesn't necessarily need to be somebody who hasn't spoken. It could be anybody in the team, whoever wants to have a go, to speak first or against the motion. No, so because we started with speaking for, so this time we'll start with against. So speaking against the motion that secularism is dying, and then you can, because we started with you, we'll end with you. So here's your chance. You have only 1 minute. Shehzad Poonawalla, the last speaker, the last comment, after which is audience voting. Shehzad Poonawalla, explain, based on what you heard from the jury, why you think secularism is not dying. Your time starts now.
Because we veered around the Gandhi-Godse debate, and let me tell you what was the Gandhian concept of secularism. The Gandhian concept of secularism was, he himself said, Ram Rajya hona chahiye. His final words were, hey Ram. He wanted that the cow slaughter should be prohibited. But the Nehruvian form of secularism even dumped Gandhi, and by the way, the only person who's built a Godse Mandir, Babulal Chaurasia, is in the Congress party, and he continues to be there. So that much about their Godse love. But having said that, this is the true idea of secularism that the Congress party departed from, and which we are returning to today. And only one last point, exposing the hypocrisy. These people call themselves secular. They have allied with Uddhav Sena, which destroyed the Babri Masjid, according to them. They are allied with the Muslim League in Kerala, from where she comes from. And they are allied with ISF Furfura Sharif, who said he wanted Hindus' blood in West Bengal. This is their secularism. And our secularism is very simple, that the concept of our Vedas, the secularism is imbibed in that. That is the secularism. Ram and Krishna are on the pages of the Constitution, but they say Ram ji ke baare mein baat karna is communal. This is where Congress is at.
Okay, thank you. So our last speaker, the last 1 minute of this debate, and then we do the voting. You can come here, Riju. He got this debate off to a flying start. Let's see how he wraps this all up. Your time starts now. Final comments speaking for the motion that secularism is dying in India.
On a topic when secularism is dying in India, my dear friend from the BJP spoke about how many toilets were built and how many taps were built. Well, Shehzad, if you are in power for 2 consecutive terms and the majority of 150 crore people are voting for you, pardon my French, but that's your bloody job to do. Secondly, Hinduism does not need protection. We have survived. We have survived the Mughals, we have survived the British, and we will survive the BJP as well. It's a religion of compassion, generosity, and we are all in it together. But that does not mean we will undermine somebody else to make us look superior. I am a practicing Hindu. I have learned my religion from my parents and from my grandparents. The self-declared custodians of Hinduism do not understand that Hinduism traverses them all. And it will stay even after them, even after me, even after this country. Hinduism will stay here forever. But what Hinduism does not teach us is to undermine others to make us look superior. And if you want to know
Ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to an end of this debate. Thank you very much for joining us for the first Knives Out Conclave debate. Can we have a very big round of applause for our debaters? You know, and I just want to say, before we begin the voting, that it doesn't really matter who won or lost. Just the fact that they came, they made the arguments that they did. For us, they're all winners. But of course, there must be a winner, and somebody gets a pen and somebody gets something much fancier than that, right? So let's do that now. So this QR code that I spoke of is now going to come on your screen. So if you can zoom in and download the QR code from the screen, fantastic. Remember, once this starts, you have only 120 seconds to conclude. So I hope that everyone's got that tech game spot on, right? And you also have this QR code on the table in front of you, so just pick out your phone, go to the QR code, and then start to vote. So I hope you're all ready. We're just kind of building it up because you actually have just that limited amount of time once this gets kick-started to conclude your voting. If you aren't able to conclude, then we can't really help you because that's just the way it is. And because this screen may be too far away from some of you, therefore this sheet of paper is also somewhere near you, or you could just reach out and get one from someone who's nearby. But hopefully our tech team's done a great job and you're being able to download straight from that QR code. The question is, secularism is dying in India. That's the motion that we've been debating. You've heard from, say, you guys can't vote. I hope you're not Shehzad bhai. You're not voting, right? Oh, I thought he's like, okay.
I have a 5 p.m. on his channel. I'm giving the time for that.
The biggest concern is I hope elections aren't rigged and I hope the debaters aren't voting for themselves, right? That's not allowed. So don't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I hope our EVM is good. I hope our EVM is good. We have confidence in the India Today Group digital tech team. They've done a good job and hopefully it's working out really fine. Okay, so you have 116 seconds left. Okay? 116 seconds left. It's on your screen right now, and this is live voting. So as you keep pumping in your answers, this keeps changing. You get to vote only once. You can't change your mind. At this moment, 20%, 21% of the respondents are saying secularism is dying in India. 75% are saying no, secularism is not dying. 4% seem confused because they can't say. I mean, how can you not say? You just heard a great debate. You cannot possibly say you can't say. Who are these 3%? Not loud. Or maybe they didn't get any food and they're upset because India wale ne khana nahi khilaya. So don't do that. I hope you're voting. Now 22%, secularism is dying. It's going up just, I think the no's really just went out and voted straight up. The other team is getting their votes out very slowly. We've got 68 seconds to go. I don't know what Shehzad is doing. He's looking very dangerous. He's like, you know, main apni army ko lagaya tha because this QR code, if you try online, I don't know if you can do it from home. I hope he doesn't have the full BJP army doing that. Download the QR code from social and digital and then vote. He's already passed whatever message he had to. Their toolkit is already activated if required. Or it could just be all of you. It could also just be all of you.
EVM hack करने की
EVM
जरूरत
hack
नहीं
नहीं है,
है.
जनता ही hacked है. Okay, fine. We've got 43 seconds to go before we wrap up this debate. If you haven't voted still, please do. This is your last chance. And I hope it's only people who are here who are voting because that's the whole idea. You can't, I mean, you can, I suppose, if you're elsewhere and you were really quick, like a quick gun, Murugan, you pulled it out, looked at the QR code, you could do it from outside as well. 26 seconds to go. Is secularism dying in India? You know, this is where is Rajdeep here because Rajdeep gets really excited. He says, I can call the election. That's when everyone else at the back end gets really worried, saying, don't call the election because it can change. But Rajdeep says, agar 11 seconds mein nahi hua, to ab change nahi hoga. And I think that's quite correct. So on the motion of whether secularism is dying in India, the India Today Knives Out debate, the results are in front of us. 76% of the respondents who are present over here, hopefully with no fixing, no hacking, no toolkits, they've come to the conclusion that secularism, in fact, is not dying in India. So they've carried this motion. Can we have a very warm round of applause, please? Very warm round of applause. Good to see some camaraderie between our debaters. I now want to call our team with the awards and the prizes, and can we get the members of the jury to give away the awards to the winning team? So if you can just come here. Arima Sundaram, Swapan Dasgupta, Deepak Verma. Can we have a round of applause for them as well, please? And can we call our winning team first? Shehzad, Poonawalla, Hindol, Sengupta, Shehla, Rashid, and those fancy gifts for our winners for making so much of an effort. And just give it to the gift. So you can come. Shehla, please come. Shwapanda. There's a lot of pehle aap happening. Huh? There's a kind of formed good camaraderie and teamsmanship. Sir, unko de do, please. Ek karke de do. Yes, thank you. Yes. So thank you very much. It's a group photograph. That's the winning team. Can we have a round of applause for our winners, please? They argued against the motion that secularism is dying and they carried the debate at Knives Out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please come back. Can we have the team that fought hard but didn't carry this motion, couldn't win the audience? Can we have Riju Datta here, please? Shama, Mohamed, Ashutosh, please come. No, just give it to the jury, and they'll give it to the guests. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So please come back. If the jury can just stay with us, can we have the last three? Can we have a token of appreciation for our jury, please? Can I invite Kali Puri to come, our Managing Director, Executive Editor-in-Chief. It was her idea that we do this Knives Out Conclave debate. So can we have a round of applause, please? And can you bring the last three gifts for our jury? Starting with Swapan, Dasgupta. Aryama said, I've never missed court on a Friday afternoon. This is a very expensive debate. So thank you for that, Aryama. And Deepak Verma. Thank you very much. Can we have everyone coming here for one photograph? 5 minutes. She came with a full...
Let's put it together for Rahul for moderating this. Put it together for Rahul for moderating this.
हो गया भाई, हो गया, Shehzad भाई, हो गया, जीत गए आप. Okay, can you all stand and can we get a photograph? And thank you very much. I hope you guys had great fun. Thank you for participating. So hello and welcome to Knives Out. This is the big India Today Conclave debate. 10 years after the Modi government came to power, one of the biggest questions in our country is whether secularism is dying on the watch of the Modi Sarkar. That's the motion we will debate today. Allow me to introduce you to our speakers and explain the rules of the contest. Each of our speakers will have 3 minutes. There is a buzzer that will go off at the end of the 3 minutes. There's a countdown clock in front, so they have exactly 3 minutes to speak. So it's not like a TV debate where they can go on and on and on, and then they're not out of the control of the anchor and the moderator. After 3 minutes, the buzzer just goes off. So they have exactly 3 minutes to speak. And also, the debaters will be judged not just for the content that they put out, but for the style of performance, the theater, the drama, the delivery. It's not just the content. We have a very distinguished jury. The jury will be sitting here. And these are great debaters themselves. However, the jury will not tell us what they think. We don't want to know what their views are at this moment. They have to pick on the arguments of each of the debaters, what they liked, what they didn't like, logical fallacies in what the speaker said, and play a role in shaping the debate. So you have opening comments for 3 minutes, you have 1 round of interjection, then the jury speaks, and then we have 1 minute of concluding comments. And then all of you have a very important role because you have to vote who won. So there is this QR code that's in front of you. It'll also be on the screen. Basically, this is a URL that you go to and you decide who won, right? So there's a question, secularism is dead in India, not basis your own opinion ideally, but basis what you've heard from these two teams. You determine and decide who you thought won. So just play a role in helping decide who won this contest. So with all that said, allow me to introduce you to our debaters. We'll do this one